Guys, Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. This is my family's favorite breakfast, and we're never going back to regular cereal. Our favorite combo is to mix the cocoa with the peanut butter flavors to make the ultimate peanut butter cup collaboration with 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving. This high-quality cereal is fueling reimagined. Use my code Chael2023 for $5 off your very own variety box and choose from Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, and maple waffle, plus other awesome flavors, including blueberry muffin and cinnamon roll. Magic Spoon is so confident in this product, they back it with a 100% happiness guarantee, which means if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. Click on the link below. Use the code Chael2023 to save $5 off your order today. Also, for my Canadian and British fans, Magic Spoon now ships to Canada and the UK. Guys, how serious is this feud between Leon Edwards and Dana White, right? And it's just an opposing opinion. It's an opposing opinion of who the #1 contender is, who's going to get the next title shot, which equals Leon's next opponent. But it is really important that you understand it in that order, right? Like Dana's job as the president is to identify the #1 contender who will be fighting for the championship next. But then third is Leon's next opponent. Now, the only way Leon's going to think of it is who is my next opponent. He's not going to hear anything else, right? I mean, there's an integrity and there's an obligation that has to be done when you're in that decision-making role. I'm asking you guys, how serious is this battle? Because I'm not taking it very serious. I think that Dana has made it clear what they're going to do, but I don't know that I agree that Leon has put his foot down or was ever actually turning down Colby. I think the media turned that a little bit. I really do. And I think if you go back and you listen to the words and moreover you listen to the tone, you do that in conjunction with the timing. Man, Leon just got done. When you are the champion and you are going to bestow, right, you're going to go out there, main event, for the strap, 5 rounds, world watch, there's a lot of things. You don't want to do that with your enemy. I had a devil of a time getting my match with Anderson Silva. And I cleaned out the division around me. He despised me. He despised me so much. It wasn't that he didn't think he could win or he was scared or any of these things that, you end up turning to. It wasn't any of that. He didn't want to do me the favor. Simple as that. Hey, Chael, go do something else with someone else. It's going to look different. It's going to pay different. The experience is going to be different. I have those things, and I'm not giving them to you. I'm not going to share them. And I just felt as though that's what Leon was really talking about. I think Leon was also being a sportsman. He's got a past. He has a history with Bahal, and I don't know that he has heat with him. I don't know that the eye poke, and I don't know that those guys begrudge that. I think they built a respect. They never appeared to have a problem with each other before the fight. It's kind of hard to get heat going with Leon. But then even after the fight, when the streak was broken, nobody really appeared to be mad at the other one. And I think they just formed a little bit of a bond. And I believe that Leon's saying it's not going to be Colby. It should be Bahal. It's just a tip of the hat to his former opponent. I don't believe we ever got to the point that anybody was being serious. I mean, this announcement came 40 minutes, 50 minutes, maybe an hour after the card had concluded and he won the world championship. I mean, he's mid-celebration. Nobody gets booked that quick. Nobody else is booked that quick. Colby happened to be there. The question came up, is he the #1 contender? Yes, he's the #1 contender. It's why he's here. Don't tell me that these guys can't fight. Had something happened to Kamaru Usman, they would have fought tonight. I'd be at the press conference about their fight. So don't act like it's weird that these two might have fought. You didn't have anything to say an hour ago when it would have saved the show. I mean, right, it's one of these situations. And I bring that to you because when you start to take a stand, you can start to believe in something. When you start to argue for something, you start to believe in something. You can work yourself into a shoot And if Leon allows the media and the naysayers to make as though it's a battle of wills, of stubborn heads with Dana, I don't think that that's the spot Leon's in. I don't think the spot he put himself in. And I do have to remind you, in Leon's absolute defense, when Leon first said he will not be fighting, Colby doesn't deserve it. I think he even said, I'm going with Blahal. I might be adding that. I know he floated the name Blahal, but he for sure said no to Colby. He didn't know that Dana had said yes. And these were simultaneous interviews. Right? Leon's in the back. He doesn't have a feed. He doesn't know what Dana's saying. He comes out. He says his piece. He leaves. Dana comes on the back. Reporter asks them both the same question. They get two different. They weren't actually butting heads. I mean, I really do have to bring this up. I really do. Because the only way you can do sport, the only way you can do above board sport is to have somebody else make those decisions. It must be that way. And I've heard that argued to the opposite, but you don't mean it, and no sport's done that way. The Olympic Games is done that way. Now it's in the form of a bracket. They set up an architecture known as a straight line bracket. So the person that's decided when they decided to go with the format of a straight line bracket, but it was still set. The Super Bowl, right? One team wins, the other team wins, they just go play. There's not an argument, there's not a debate. And I share that because what would happen if Colby Covington won? Colby Covington, correct me if I'm wrong, would become the biggest villain to be UFC champion in the sport's history. Do you see it differently? And what would happen then? I mean, what would happen when Colby's the champion of the world? Where is he going to turn it up to then? What opportunities are going to present themselves? What media, what interviews, what spots? I'm just saying that's a very interesting thing to me. These two could not be more different as far as a character and a presence goes in that helm. Like where I'm telling you that Colby might be the biggest villain to be champion ever, Leon might be the nicest champion ever. He'd have to be considered. I've tried to rile Leon up. It just doesn't work. That's just not the game that he's playing. And it is a very interesting what if, right? I mean, what would Colby do? And that whole division is very different than what we thought, guys. It's very different than what we thought. Look, we've been spending the last 2 years, 2.5 years maybe, getting Chimaev ready, getting the audience ready for Chimaev to step into an opportunity and quite possibly take the helm. Chimaev is now up a weight class. Kamaru Usman, the only guy that you could ever argue career and resume against George St. Pierre and not be laughed out of the room. I don't know where he's going to go. And everything is on the table. From retirement, I'm the only one using that word, but I'm just saying, from everything's on the table. From retirement to I'm coming back. Colby, I gave you 2 opportunities. If you get the jump on Leon, it's you and me. Okay. Kamaru Usman could announce a retirement, or he could announce that he's fighting for the belt over a guy who he's beaten twice. We don't know where that division's going to go. It looks very different, and it's very compelling. I mean, it is really important that we get this match in the ring. We can argue about it, and who's right, and who's wrong, who doesn't, but we've got to get that match in the ring. While we're arguing about it, we got to get that match in the ring. The way that the division is going to move on, and the direction that that division is going to go, you heard Dana talk about they're working on something big for Blahal. I don't know that was the world's best kept secret, but just to share with you, that's Rakhmonov. But that is big. That is big. Rakhmonov is 16-0, I believe, off the top of my head. Looks completely invincible. That sounds a lot like the record of the guy that Blahal just fought and beat. That was just to remind you, Brady was 15-0. They're only separated by one. We really can't count Lahal out. And then what we would also have is a very clear number one contenders match. I mean, that division's in a really interesting spot. And I'm not pretending it's a foregone conclusion that Colby's going to go out there and beat Leon. I would be very foolish to say that. I'm just sharing for you. That's the match. Get it in the ring. Let's worry about everything else later. Get them in the ring. And then where do you go with the division, with the matchmaking, with the character development, and where do you go as an organization moving forward with the welterweights?